Everyone's a wolf in this book.
Not Nesta. Nesta is a mountain cat. Because she purrs.
You're listening to Getting Fae'd. We,
Meike,
Lukas,
and Lea are reading A Court of Mist and Fury for the very first time. Today we are covering chapters 24, 25 and 26. Get Fae'd with us!
Woo!
hello.
Hello,
Hi.
guys.
As you might hear, we are all, except for Lea, apparently very, very sad.
So
because
sad.
today is a sad day.
No, why?
Because for the first time in the history of this podcast, we are doing a remote recording because Lea is not here.
She's not with us any longer.
Lea is tuning in just from the afterlife.
I am talking to you from my grave.
We buried her with a microphone so we can still do this
Stop
podcast.
telling everyone I'm dead. Sometimes I can still hear her voice. No, I'm visiting my mom, but we wanted you to have the full podcast experience with no break in the episodes. So here we are recording from different places, but hopefully it's still just as good and just as fun.
Jet set life.
But for it to still be fun for you guys, today we're doing a 3-chapter episode.
Because once again, the chapters are very short.
Yes, very short.
And maybe we suggested that after reading the cliffhanger at the end of chapter 25, but that's only part of it. Chapter 25 is still very, very short.
Yeah. I have like 4 pages of notes for 3 chapters, which is like 20 pages.
But the thing is, I did actually have the cliffhanger feeling because I read the 2 chapters and then I had to take a break, do something else, and then I returned for the 3rd chapter. So
Wow. Maybe you can tell us about this experience once we get to the cliffhanger.
I will. But before we can head into these 3 chapters, does one of you guys maybe want to give us a little recap what happened before?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the last chapters were very short too. I feel like not that much happened? Question mark. Like, we went to the mortal realm, finally. We took a little flight there, Feyre flying with Azriel, which made me very happy, very relatable. I would have chosen him too, because she didn't want to fly with Rhys, because he makes her feel uncomfortable, because they have a flirty situation going on, and she doesn't know how to deal with it. Very spicy. And then they land in the mortal realms, very exciting. And Feyre goes to her sisters, alone. Wise choice. Don't bombard them with all the Fae energy. Just come in Fae single, I guess.
Fae single.
And Nesta is not very hyped about her coming there. And Elaine is, I would say, neutral but scared. Like, she's happy to see that Feyre is okay, but she's a bit scared of the whole Fae thing.
Yeah. Which also has to do with the fact that Elaine is engaged to some Grayson Nolan or whatever, and his dad is like a big anti-Fae guy.
He's a Fae hunter, actually.
Right.
He's like a mimimima guy, the make the mortal realm great again. I completely screwed up this pun.
I forgive you.
I for some reason my brain told me that these people are called Mama, but that's not true.
Mama! Go cry to your mama.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very anti-Fae. And I was surprised that Elaine is getting married, but I guess.
She's just a baby.
Yeah, and then Feyre tells them what their plan is. Like, that she's now with Night Court, and Nesta is a bit, oh, now you're with Night Court? I thought you were with Spring Court. Ha! That didn't work out, I guess.
Truth, though.
Classic Nesta.
Yeah.
And then she's like, do you want to meet them? And that's where the chapter ends, like, very promising for them to finally introduce the gang to the gang.
Well, one important thing, the plan that they want to enact is that they need to contact the 6 mortal queens?
6.
Yes.
Because they have one part of that book that they need to control the cauldron or whatever, and the plan is to invite them to the mansion of Feyre's family. And that is why they are there in the first place.
Which is a wild plan. To think that the 6 queens, the rulers of the mortal world, will just kind of come to this girl's house to do some planning.
Also, I want to see the continent. Let's go there, not invite them over. I've already seen this part of the mortal realm. Give me the continent.
I feel like they will be going to the continent at some point.
I hope so.
But the thing is, when you think about
Soon.
like, I don't know if it was like in the Middle Ages, but like if you watch Downton Abbey or something, that's like, I don't know, the 20s, the early 20th century and stuff. The royal family still did like a tour or something of the different dukedoms or whatever. And they visited the royal, or not royal, but the like aristocratic mansions, and it's kind of on the same vein. It's just, we are very remote on this little sliver of this island, please visit us too.
Yeah.
But for this meeting to actually take place, all the servants have to be sent away, and they are, with a little bit of money to accommodate their travels, their unexpected travels, I guess. And Mrs. Laurent or whatever, the housemaid? I don't know.
Maid.
Housekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
She promises to keep what she has seen secret.
Ooh, she's shady, isn't she?
She's gonna snitch to Lord Nolan.
Yeah, I see great potential for her to spill some beans.
Yeah.
But once everyone has left, it is time for the Fae and humans to meet. And Azriel and Cassian and Rhys have apparently been waiting outside. Like, we were wondering, like, have they just gone in with them or have they been waiting outside? But they were outside, which is the more, like, social thing to do, I guess.
Gentleman.
I think Azriel convinced them.
He's the reasonable one in these chapters, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But when they walk in, Cassian whistles and says, "Oh, your father must be a fine merchant if he has so much wealth." And I'm like, no. He was just spoon-fed by Tamlin, and he sucks. As a merchant, as a father, and frankly, as a human being.
Period.
I was thinking you were about to say, and as a man, because he's not a provider. But I guess he says, I guess he sucks at that too.
Honestly, that would have been a funny, awkward conversation if Cassian goes like, "Oh, wow, everything's so chic in here." And then Nesta's like, "Yeah, Tamlin paid for it." And they're all like, well.
It's actually funny that she just doesn't mention it.
Yeah, instead she just thinks about it. And with that also reminds us that Tamlin has paid for all of that. And she has some thoughts about that. Because she's like, yeah, there's still a part of Tamlin that is good. And I was like,
You know, I have to admit, I'm not a Tamlin apologist, and I don't like Tamlin. I really, really hate Tamlin, but I'm starting to like appreciate the writing of his character, because I feel like it's kind of a cool character story to have a character be so obsessed with love in a way that he just kind of freaks and just becomes a bad person. Like, so far, Tamlin has not done anything villainous, just like bad in this relationship, and that's kind of cool. But I hate Tamlin, and I don't know how to feel about the way she thinks about him in this chapter, where she's like, well, he got me to the point I am now, and without him I wouldn't be what I am now. And I like that she finally starts to see his flaws. Like, she doesn't fault herself for like having trauma anymore. She's just like, oh, the way we both reacted and like did not talk about it was kind of what broke us apart. But to think like she needed Tamlin to be a fucker, like she needed Tamlin to be evil to her. Like, you never need someone to treat you badly. Like, he didn't make her strong. She's always been strong, but he treated her badly, and because of that situation, it had to come out. Like, she had to endure something, and that just showed her strength.
Yeah.
I hate when people are like, well, that situation was bad and the person was bad for me, but they made me who I am. Like, no, they didn't. You've always been the person you are. They just forced you to, like, rely on your stronger traits.
I completely agree. But I do think the second thought she has here, I agree with that. Because she says, yes, he'd given me everything I needed to become myself, to feel safe. And when he got what he wanted, he'd stopped. And, like, given everything to me to become myself, I feel like that's before, like, all her trauma happened. That's, like, when she actually got to be, like, herself in his care, I guess.
I think it's a very healing thought for her to understand that he fucked up.
Yes.
Yeah. I think in her thoughts she like mentions like she cuts him some slack, but she always sprinkles in the phrase like, but still unexcusable behavior.
Good thinking,
Yeah.
Feyre.
So it's good to see that she finally recognizes that, well, this is not excusable, and that she definitely made the right
Yes.
choice to leave him, this little bitch.
And while they are walking toward the dining room where the sisters are waiting, they also talk about the father who is away on this conference on the continent where they are talking about the threat of Prythian. And the boys, like her companions, are first a little bit offended that they consider Prythian the threat and not Hybern. But then they think that this acknowledgement of a threat overall could actually be a good thing, because then that might help to persuade the queens. So let's hope they're right, I guess. Things are happening, especially the introduction between the sisters and the Night Court boys. And we finally get a surname for Feyre and her sisters, which is Archeron.
Right.
Yes. Can we talk about the surname?
Yes, please.
Because I'm sorry, but I hate it. Because Sarah J. Maas really sat down to write this book about her protagonist in a Fae world who will turn Fae, and also like her thing is that she's good at hunting with bow and arrow. And so she decided to call her Feyre Archeron. Which is just, why? Why?
You know, I knew her last name. Like, that was a thing I knew about her from the other book series. But, you know, it's hard to be quiet about something that is very cool. Like, you know something's happening and you don't want to spoil it, so you have to keep quiet about it, but you're all giggly inside. But I had to keep quiet about this stupid-ass last name all the time. Like, you were wondering, oh, what could your last name be? Maybe it has, like, a meaning. Maybe it's important. I was like, no, it's just stupid.
A thought that I had about Sarah's naming game is also the fact that she thought about how am I going to call this man stuck in a piece of jewelry, and she came up with Jurian, which I think that's just how her naming brain
I
works.
guess. I found it funny that she felt the need to include a surname. Like, we went 1.5 books without one, and then she was like, now I need a surname. And I was like, okay, that's cool, I guess. And then it was Archeron, and I was like, okay, okay.
Do you think Fae have surnames?
I don't know.
I feel like surnames are something that a civilization develops when too many people are around and you need to distinguish them. But because Fae children are so rare, I think it's safe to say that's Asriel, and that's like the only Asriel in his generation of 4 people.
But the thing is, surnames also indicate belonging to a family, especially like in a patriarchal society, belonging to a father. And we've heard that like family and legacy is quite important, at least for High Fae. But I guess they're just called Rhysand of Night Court or something.
Maybe just Rhys and Night.
Mr. Knight!
Tamlin Spring.
Yeah, that's honestly, I
Tarkin's
think,
Hammer.
that's honestly a thing I don't know. Like, I don't remember any of the Fae people I've met before having a last name. So that's actually something I'm wondering.
But I think the even more important information than the family's surname is the fact that Rhysand apparently wears magic clothing, because when they arrived he was wearing like his fighting garb, his fighting leathers, and then they enter the room and he's wearing just like, maybe not casual clothes, but like normal clothes. And what is he actually wearing? Are his clothes magical and change, or is he always wearing his fighting leathers and he just makes them appear differently, or is he wearing nothing?
I think he's naked. Yeah, I think he's just nude under there, and all his clothes are an illusion.
But then, like, why would he wear armor? That wouldn't make sense. Like illusory armor.
I don't know. He's just magic. I mean, this man can make anything appear out of nowhere. Maybe he can just pull out the fitting outfit out of his pocket dimension.
Maybe he actually got changed while they were waiting.
Okay, yeah. That could be it.
He was like, please guys, turn around. I gotta switch my attire.
I mean, that would make sense. Like, we have seen or get to see his pocket dimension abilities, but then I would think he would still have to put the clothes on. But maybe she just hadn't noticed that he changed clothes when she opened the door.
Maybe.
And then this introduction happens, and Nesta and Elaine are both quite afraid. And while Elaine tries to cover that with some politeness, Nesta makes her animosity very known. And then this meeting quickly moves to the dinner table, where we get some fun seating arrangements.
But first of all, Nesta is described as a queen ready to hold court.
Awesome.
Which is just very fitting, and also plays into our theory that one day Nesta will obviously be the only mortal queen left in this realm.
Awesome, yeah.
And rule them all. One Nesta to rule them all.
She's already practicing and acting as kind of the head of the house, the matriarch of the family, the icon. And she is seated at the head of the table. And then on her right, Feyre sits, and on her left, Elaine sits. And then Rhys is sitting next to Feyre. And Cassian sits down next to Elaine. And then Azriel sits next to Rhys and has no one at a side or directly across from him. Like, I see why Nesta is sitting at the head of the table, but I find it interesting that she kind of leaves Elaine exposed somewhat, sitting next to one of the Fae people. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's all this food on the table, and it is described very awesomely. Like, it's salmon and chicken and potatoes, and I was very jealous. I wanted to eat it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now that you say it, I'm quite hungry. Oh no.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting hungry too.
This podcast is not called Getting Fae'd anymore, it's Getting Hungry.
Yes.
Get hungry with us. Oh, nom, nom, nom,
Unfortunately, for Feyre at least, the food does not taste the way it looks, but it tastes like ash. Because apparently Fae have special magical taste buds or something.
I didn't really get that. Either it's that they have magical special taste buds, or is it just that Fae food is just so much better because Fae have culture?
Maybe.
Yeah, I got a little annoyed by Feyre being so... I mean, she doesn't outright say that she doesn't like the food, but it's very visible on her face. Like, Nesta immediately notices. And it kind of annoyed me. Like, girl, you want to get them on your side, and you have been changed. Like, saying you are the problem in the room sounds mean. Like, it's not her problem. She died and then got brought back as a Fae. But, like, she is the unknown thing in the room. So she should maybe try to, like, be as friendly as she could. And then her getting all high on the whole, oh, I'm a Fae person. I have a crown on my head and blah, blah, blah. Like
why is she wearing a crown?
Yeah, I mean, the crown is so unnecessary.
Tone it down a bit, just a bit.
We can cut her some slack. I think I also don't have a food poker face. I mean, it's hard. Like, if the food sucks, it's hard to keep it to yourself.
Yeah. And as you said, Nesta picks up on her discomfort with the food, and she reacts quite pissed and thinks that Feyre feels too good for them now. But Feyre then retorts quite aggressively, I can eat, drink, fuck and fight just as well as I did before. Better even. So the tensions are very high right now.
Yeah, what was that comment? Kind of unnecessary. I don't know. But it felt a bit off for Feyre. Like, she's never been that outright...
feisty.
Right, feisty. And obscene, I guess. Like, I don't think we've ever heard Feyre say fuck. And the way the sex scenes are described are still very toned down, which is basically Feyre's point of view. But I always find it so funny when you have these old, immature men, like those guys are over 500 years old, and they get like they laugh about Feyre and they get a bit flustered, like, oh, she said she could fuck, all right. That always kind of annoys me. Like, I don't feel like men that old have a reaction to that, but maybe they all are just stuck children. I don't know, maybe they are. I wouldn't describe them as mature, not in their heads.
No,
but I feel like what is coming through here is the annoyance that Feyre has had with her sisters for almost all of her life. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe it's not wise to bring it up here, but I think it's good that she recognizes that her sisters kind of suck because they just did nothing and let Feyre feed them for like 8 years or something. And I think she has a valid point.
And one person who is not having it, and he is, I feel like particularly intrigued by Nesta's fierce spunk, I guess. That is Cassian.
Ooh.
Surprise, surprise.
They're butting heads a lot in these chapters, but it feels like it's leading up to a romance.
Yeah.
I even wrote down like that our ship is confirmed. Like not confirmed that they will be together, but that the book acknowledges that ship. And they even came up with a name. I think we should call their shipping name NESCAS.
I like it.
NESTA.
I was otherwise thinking of Canesta, which sounds a little bit like the game Canasta.
NESTA. Both
NESCAS.
strong.
NESCAS is good.
NESCAS, I like NESCAS. Yeah, my notes just say, yeah, okay, Nesta and Cassian are so gonna fuck.
Cassian is actually giving Nesta a piece of his opinion exactly about that, and I would like to read it to you. He put it exactly into words, I found. Someone who let her youngest sister risk her life every day in the woods while she did nothing. Someone who let a 14-year-old child go out into that forest, so close to the wall. Your sister died to save my people. She's willing to do so again to protect you from war. So don't expect me to sit here with my mouth shut while you sneer at her for a choice she did not get to make and insult my people in the process. Yeah,
Snap,
put into
snap.
words.
Oh, and then Nesta just ignores him, which I feel like the tension there is graspable.
Yeah.
And I think their relationship is fuckable.
Fuckable, ew.
You know, I've said before that I'm not the biggest fan of Cassian yet, but that made me like him a bit.
Yeah, same.
Because he's very openly on Feyre's side. And, you know, he could have been someone who does not really accept her because she's different. But to be so openly friendly to her and protect her is nice.
And just that he acknowledges what she has gone through all her life just makes him more sympathetic, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it also feels like something Rhys could have ranted about.
True.
I kind of, because Cassian hasn't been there for most of what Feyre endured. And I kind of feel like Rhys comes to a room and is like, guys, but let's speak about her fucking sisters. Like, they never supported her. And now we're going to go see them. And, like, if they say one bad word, and then Cassian's like, well, what happened? And Rhys goes on this rant.
Yeah.
And now Cassian's like angry because Rhys was angry when he told him.
But the way Nesta ignores him leaves Cassian like a wolf who had been circling a doe only to find a mountain cat wearing its hide instead. Very funny.
Metaphor.
Yeah.
Metaphor.
Everyone's a wolf in this book.
Not Nesta. Nesta is a mountain cat. Because she purrs.
But coming back to the whole ship confirmed thingy, what I noticed when they entered, I mean, it's probably very obvious, but it just came to me when it was so clearly on the page, that if Nesta ends up with Cassian and Elaine would end up with Azriel, all three sisters would end up with one of the bad boys. And I don't know how I feel about that.
I think that's funny, but I would not call Azriel a bad boy.
Not bad boy. Bat boy.
Yeah, bat boy, because
Oh,
they
bat.
have wings.
Oh, yeah. Huh. Yeah.
My
yeah.
notes actually say Batman, because I thought that was funny, but to describe the gang as man kind of feels off. So I feel like Bat Boy fits better.
Bad
I
boys.
always describe them as Feyre and her boys because, you know, she just goes there with her guys.
Yeah, it's very fitting.
And I think it's also kind of not stupid. I mean, this is a book, but to think that all the sisters would just end up with these people is just kind of random.
It would feel a bit forced.
Yeah.
It is a romance book.
It would feel a bit YA, I feel like.
What makes me concerned is, like, if Azriel and Elaine get together, like, what happens to Morrigan?
Right. I want them to be together.
Azriel and Elaine also have a little bit of a rapport in these chapters, and I feel like they could go either way.
Azel. That's my shipping name, Azel.
Not as Lane.
Yeah, Aslain, Slain. They are we could just call them Slay, but with a Z.
Slay.
Or ease.
No, I don't like it. But, like, their rapport, I feel like could go either way. They could form a romance, or they could just be friends and allies who are, like, the calming factors.
That would be nice.
Or a polycule with Morrigan.
Yes.
They both seem very civilized in this
Yes.
chapter. Like the only two that actually just have a normal conversation. And that's just fun. Like I don't need them to be falling in love. They can just be, that immortal friendship thingy.
But the thing is, Elaine actually makes a fair point for their fear and resulting prejudice, because, their own neighbor, Claire Bedor, had been kidnapped and killed by Fae, which lets especially Rhys shut up very fast.
That scene is so funny.
Yeah.
How Rhys just looks down at his blade and is like,
Yeah.
I think it was like accidentally a very funny scene.
If there is ever a TV show about these books, this is a scene I'm very much looking forward. It's like such a small moment, but for them to be like, one of our own was killed by Fae, Claire Bedor, and Rhys, and just like, yep. Them all sharing looks, that would be such a good
really
moment.
like that.
They better not cut it out.
No.
But what do you think about the fact that they don't clear the situation up?
I don't think it would do any good. What should Rhys do? Be like, oh well, yeah, I regret that I sold her out. That wouldn't do any good.
They would start their work relationship on a basis of honesty.
I agree,
which is always
but
good.
The thing is, they would then have to explain his situation, that he was under Amarantha's thumb for such a long time, and that he had to do things that he didn't want to do. And I feel like it's quite hard to explain in a first conversation you have with someone.
Yeah. But he could also just blame it all on Amarantha and thus the King of Hybern, and it would maybe make it easier to get them as allies.
Yeah.
Right. That would have been a smart move, to be like, well, Amarantha did that, and she was working for the King of Hybern, who we want to fight. I mean, we don't know who pinned Claire to the wall. I mean, it was clearly Rhys who gave her name to Amarantha, but
I can see that he did some of the torturing. I can even see he did some of the kidnapping, to be honest.
oh well. It's a fiction book. We can forgive him.
He didn't do it on page, so it doesn't count.
He didn't mean it, so it's okay.
And if he did, he would have looked hot while doing it.
And probably tortured as well. Yeah.
That's what counts.
Yeah. He's not
Tragic.
just a tortured soul, he's also a torturing soul. But what's the difference,
Yeah.
really? I don't know.
And then they go on talking a little bit about their nature as fae and fairies and the differences and lack thereof. And it turns out they do not actually plan to stay until the queens arrive there. They just want to send a letter to them and then leave after breakfast the next day.
Aww.
But first, before the next day is met, we have some sleeping situations. Because Rhys insists that they sleep as pairs in the bedrooms, that no one of them is sleeping alone, so that no one can be ambushed in secret. And so Asriel and Cassian share a room, and then Rhys and Feyre. Who would have thunk?
But they walk into the room and there's only one bed.
Yes! It's like the trope of all tropes. I couldn't believe it when I read it.
But I think Sarah J. Maas acknowledged that it's a stupid trope, because she stops doing the trope after a couple of sentences when Feyre's like, nope, I'm not sharing that, and then Rhys summons another bed.
Yeah, she subverts the expectations a bit, which I didn't expect she would do, actually. So I was pleasantly surprised. Yes.
Yeah.
So he summons this bed and some other things out of this pocket dimension, like sleeping clothes and whatever. And then they have a conversation about all sorts of different topics, and they start with talking about the sisters, and they also kind of ship NESTA and Cassian. At least they are also intrigued by their dynamic.
Cass.
But then Feyre brings up Morrigan and Asriel, which kind of takes Rhys a bit by surprise or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to make of his reaction. He sounds almost... I don't know what he sounds like. He just feels weird about it. He's like, well, don't talk about that in public. And I just wondered what could be his problem with it. Is it just because Morrigan is like a sister to him and he kind of gets protective of his sister? But then Asriel is like his best friend. And I don't know, what's going on that he doesn't like there? Or is it an outside view? He doesn't want people to know about them.
Maybe he's just afraid that if Asriel and Morrigan know about their feelings towards each other and it doesn't work out, then it will break the group apart.
Or maybe there's other history between all of them in the circle, and so that relationship would stir up other things. But then Feyre is like, I'm not a gossip, I won't just blab it around, which I found like reasonable.
Yeah.
But also the thought that I had during this conversation, like, they are in adjacent rooms and we have established that Fae have like super hearing. Like, didn't Ezreal just hear that?
You're right.
And he's like, oh no, am I that obvious?
I mean, maybe Ezreal and Morrigan already had a thing going on. And that's why Rhys like, better keep quiet about it. Like, it ended badly. They already broke it off. And now, you know, I don't want you to stir things up again. Maybe. Because we don't know. Maybe those are fresh feelings, or maybe they are very old feelings.
I like that because, I mean, they know each other for quite a long time now. And for this to be like a new romance would be very classic, I guess, in storytelling. But I think it would be way more interesting if it's like a breakup story has already happened, but they still have feelings for each other because they're not shitty people, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there was this one scene where it was described that Morrigan looked like she would like to like touch his hand and comfort Ezreal, but she didn't. And maybe she didn't do it because she was like afraid to get close to him because they are not on that page yet. But maybe she was like, there was a time I would have done that. Like, it's my instinct to reach out for him and comfort him. But we're not that thing anymore, so I cannot do it. But it's my instinct, and I need to, like, suppress it. That would
juicy.
be...
I like it.
I would love that story. It would be a bit tragic and so much potential.
Yeah, but if it would be a new romance in these times, I know what the font on their wedding invitations would be.
Times New Romance?
That's such an original joke.
Oh, thank you.
Font humor. The best kind of humor.
If Ezreal was a font, what font would he be?
Helvetica. I don't know. Just sounds cool.
Aptos.
Ooh.
You think Ezreal would be an Aptos guy? I don't know.
Or maybe... Oh, no, not Arial, but like something slim. No, what? Futura.
Maybe too modern.
Yeah.
I was thinking of something slim and long.
But I definitely feel like what is it? Arial, that used to be the default font for Word that everyone didn't use because it's just bland
so
and sucks.
ugly.
I feel like that would be Feyre's dad. What do you think is Rhys font?
Papyrus.
What?
I mean, I thought about Papyrus and I wondered whom that might fit to, but I think Rhys is just not exotic enough. Maybe Nuala and Caradwyn use Papyrus.
Papyrus is not that exotic. Like, it's the font that they use for the Avatar title.
I know, but they used it to appear exotic because these are exotic people. If you guys at home have a more font knowledge of fonts, please leave a comment on your podcasting app or DM us on Instagram at GettingFadePod if you have some great font ideas to represent all of the characters. That would be great. We take suggestions.
I have a question. Like, Comic Sans, is that Thomas Mandray or Tamlin?
Honestly, Comic Sans, like, it's a very basic one, but it feels too fun
Yeah, it's
to be
too
Tamlin.
whimsical. I feel like maybe it's even Isaac Kale.
Nah, he's too kind to be Comic Sans.
But Comic Sans is a kind font.
Yeah, it's not an evil font. It's just very lame.
It's not evil, but I feel like it's like aggressively kitsch. And so...
Like, it's a meme.
yeah, that's
What
why
character
I
is a
would
meme?
say Thomas Mandray,
Lucian.
because he has goons.
Maybe the Etter.
I like that idea, especially in this chapter. Spoiler. I mean, this episode's chapter.
Nah, I think that would take even more danger away from the Etta if we give it Comic Sans.
He does so himself. But let's get back to the book. But what I liked in this sleepover talk is how the Rhaegar banter is actually getting fun now. Like,
yes.
it used to be, we often called it inappropriate, not because of its like content, but just the moment it happened. But now she's calling him a cranky old guy that was staying up past his bedtime and now needs to go to bed. That's just fun, and I'm starting to see how they like bounce off each other and, just have a fun, friendly banter conversation. And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I agree. They kind of jump around a bit in their conversation and bring up different topics and then finally go to bed. And the bed has been magically warmed, and Feyre thanks Rhysand for that. And then he brings down the mood a bit by commenting, Amarantha never once thanked me for that.
Yes, I felt bad to giggle when I read it. But I just imagined, they had a fun conversation, and then they were talking about her sister and who to ship her with, and then his sister, basically, in a way, and who to ship her with. And then she goes to bed and saying, oh, thank you for warming the bed. And I says, Amarantha never thanked me for that. And I just saw him, staring off into the distance, the shadows growing darker around him. Some emo strings playing.
Asriel practicing his emo tunes for his band in the next room. Yeah.
His new song, Song of the Wind. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how I feel about his protectiveness that comes in the next conversation, where he's like, I wasn't sure I could stand this talk with your sisters because they treated you so badly and that makes me just so angry. Because that kind of sounded how Tamlin started off his journey to become villainous overprotective. But I think I understand Rhysand's point of view, where he's like, when people treat someone you love badly, it makes you angry. It makes me angry when someone treats someone I love badly. And it makes me want to punch them. And it lets me hold a grudge for a long time often. But I think it's good that he didn't act out on it. He was civil and he was nice to his sisters. He mainly kept quiet, but that's probably the better way to treat the situation. Tamlin would have totally been mean to them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that might be one of the key differences between Tamlin and Rhysand, is that Rhysand actually has a grasp on his emotions and can deal with them. So I guess he's a bit more of an adult than Tamlin.
He's older.
Yeah, I guess. He had some time to grow. And so Feyre and Rhysand go on trauma bonding now over Feyre's relationship with her sisters. And at some point, Rhysand mentions that he set up a bank account for Feyre in Valaris, which is nice, I guess. Mm-hmm. Cool shit.
She's being paid a salary.
Yeah, the way he brings it up is a bit random, but I love that she's gonna have her own money. Because she's always been dependent on something. She was very self-sustaining when she was living with her sisters, but then again she would kind of have to split everything and make sure my sisters get some and I get some, but it's not all my own. And then living with Tamlin, she had nothing that was her own. It was all his. She had a lot, but nothing was hers. And for him to be you can live at my court, but I'm actually going to give you money. You're not going to be my guest forever. You're going to live here and work for me, and then you can do your own thing. Go buy your own fucking paint.
Yeah. I hope she will spend it at the Rainbow of Valaris. Maybe see a theater play or buy some art supplies. Or maybe take an art class.
That would be cool.
And I love how Feyre's reaction develops. She first goes oh, well, yeah, thank you, cool. And then later she's well, how much is it actually?
Yeah. But I love that Rhysand treats her basically just the same as any other person in his inner circle. She gets the same salary, even though he basically just met her. He doesn't really know what she's capable of. He has, I guess, hopes and dreams what she can achieve, but she hasn't done that yet. But he's I like you, I appreciate you, I like that you want to work with me. Here, everyone gets the same salary. That's good. Good management.
Nice.
Yes.
Good boss.
Very.
And then the topic of her birthday comes up. And here it gets interesting again, at least for me, because he doesn't really believe her that she was born on the winter solstice. Here comes a theory in from me.
Go ahead. Is it conspiracy corner worthy? Is it maybe jingle worthy?
It's not a whole-ass conspiracy, but it's a theory.
That's enough. Conspiracy with getting Fae'd. Woohoo! Doop doop.
So the thing is, Feyre's mother made a point about how she was born on the longest night of the year. And because Rhysand react so surprised about this information. I was thinking maybe there has been a saying or a prophecy for someone destined for Night Court or the High Lord of Night Court, born on like the longest night or whatever. But then I was like, okay, it couldn't really have been like a life-changing prophecy, because I feel like then he would have reacted differently. Like when she says, yeah, I was born on the winter solstice, he would have been like, what? But he's more like, when she's, I was born on the winter solstice, he's more like, oh yeah, that's been a while. Wait a second, actually on the winter solstice?
I think my thoughts went into basically the same direction, just without the prophecy thing, because I don't want it to be a prophecy, because I think that's a bit annoying, because what I really like about Feyre is that she's not chosen. Like, book 1 is her journey to become what she's now, and I don't want her to be chosen. But I just thought maybe Night Court people are all born like in darkness and night stuffy.
I like it.
And then for her to be born on like the longest night, he's like, well, actually, you kind of belong to me. No, not like a possessive way. Like you belong here. This is actually your place. Like nature-wise, this is your place, and that's kind of cool. Like he was like, nice. You're actually like someone from Night Court. Cute.
Yeah, I can see that it's just a symbol for her belonging.
Yeah, he's kind of like, that
court.
explains why you fit in so well.
Yeah, I mean, there might be a magical component, but I'm not keen on finding that. I just want to mention it so we can say that we were right if it eventually gets brought up. But for now, I can just see it's fitting because she found a new home at Night Court.
But I wondered, like, Rhys like, really? I didn't see you celebrate your birthday. But the solstice was way before he came back into her life, right?
Yeah, but the bond between them was always there.
Right, I forgot about
Maybe
the bond.
he would have felt a celebration.
Ooh, Feyre's partying. I feel the alcohol. My arm is getting dizzy.
I hope he's not operating a vehicle while his arm is getting dizzy.
Only one-handed vehicles allowed.
That would be so funny if Feyre got drunk and then he gets drunk too.
Fun times. They can save money big time if they go out partying in Villaris.
Right.
Because they only need to pay for one drink at a time.
Nice. They can always share.
Nice.
Well, the chapter ends with them actually going to sleep. And the next chapter, chapter 25, starts with Feyre and Rhys in the forest. Because here they plan to train Feyre's powers.
Training time.
Awesome.
I was very happy about that.
I was confused. Because she's in the mortal realm and is like, you know what? Now is the right time to start training my powers. I know we're going home today. But we need to do it with the mortals now. I felt that was a bit reckless.
Nah.
She's like, if I'm gonna burn everything, let it be the stupidest forest I used to hunt in.
Yeah.
This scene very much reminded me of a scene from Heir of Fire, which is the third book in the Throne of Glass series. Like, it basically has, like, I don't want to say the same setup, but it's like pretty much, like, it's a training scene and it kind of starts the same way, but then it goes into a very different route. And I liked that she managed to have like 2 stories and then scenes that are similar and then go into different directions. Like she manages to keep the stories different and she manages to keep the characters different. That is, I guess, a skill when you have 3 book series that are big and like growing. So yeah, I was happy about it, because at first I was like, I feel like I've read that scene before, but then I was like, no, I haven't. Thank you.
So the object of her training is a candle that she is supposed to...
No, it's not just a candle. It's a thick and stumpy candle.
Okay.
Very important side note there. It
This
was
is a
described
spicy
as
book.
that.
We need that information.
Okay, thank you for that addition, Lukas. It was very important.
You're welcome.
It is a thick and stumpy candle that she is supposed to light, douse with water, and then dry again, only with her powers, with her mind.
So fire, water, air.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
She's becoming the new Avatar.
Nice.
Maybe.
The thing is, she tries a bit, but she can't really concentrate, and so she sends Rhysand away. And he says when she's done, she's supposed to call him with the bond, at which Rhysand makes a rather uncomfortable comment because Feyre is a bit confused, like, should I just talk to the hand?
Talk to the
And
hand.
he's like, you could try rubbing it on certain body parts and I might come faster.
What the fuck? These kinds of comments always catch me off guard.
Yeah.
I wonder if people read that and actually think that's a sexy thing to say. Because I feel like it's supposed to be like a flirtatious, sexy comment, but it just rubs me the wrong way.
Definitely, same.
But does it rub you on certain body parts?
No. At first I thought maybe he was just making this snarky remark because her question is kind of stupid. I mean, like, they have established this bond they have. Like, she knows she can send stuff down the bond mentally. Like, he has talked to her mentally and she has answered mentally. So for her to be like, should I just talk to the hand? Is kind of stupid. But his comment is not just funny enough to be like a funny remark.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
So, I don't know. Are people out there thinking that's sexy?
I don't know.
Please comment.
I have to say, to me, I feel like smut and music are kind of the same thing. Please let me elaborate. Because when I watch a musical, always in between the music scenes, I just forget that it's a musical. Like, I just completely delete this information from my mind. And then they start singing and I'm like all started and like, what the fuck is happening? And then I remember, it's a musical. And I feel like here it's the same thing, because this technically is a smut and romance book. But between the smut and romance, I just kind of forget that. And I'm like, fantasy and training. And then he like talks about sex and makes sexy remarks. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, yeah, that's the thing of this book.
He actually has a physical reaction to musicals. Like, every time they start singing, his whole body shudders for a moment. And he looks at me and he's like, what?
Yeah. So that's why smut and music are the same thing in this regard.
Well, the thing is, like, I also thought, like, maybe I'm just too prude for this kind of banter. But it also does upset Feyre. I think it is supposed to be a little bit overreaching the goal, I guess, because they do have fun, flirty banter, as we have talked about like before, and later they do as well. Mm-hmm. So maybe Rhys is just also gauging the level of banter that they are having. But like when he has left, Feyre also finds it kind of funny.
Yeah, but I guess here we go. That's like the starting point for Rhaera.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what the
inevitable.
starting point for Rhaera is? What happens next?
Yeah.
Like those letters he sends
Yes.
her.
Yes.
Those are actually incredibly cute.
This is cute Rhaera, not uncomfortably sexy Rhaera. And I like cute Rhaera more.
I was actually surprised at how happy reading those little notes he sent her made me feel. And for him to be like she's like, what are you doing? Are you bored? Why do you send me like... He's sending her baskets, right? And they have little notes in them.
I think she finds a notepad with a pencil, with a note from him, and then she writes her answer, and then like his answer appears.
Yeah, right. They're basically like...
They're chatting, yeah.
They're chatting, yes. And then she's like, are you bored? And he's like, well, stuff's just better with you there. And I was like, what? That is such a cute answer.
He literally writes... Life is better when you're around.
And then he adds, and look how lovely your handwriting is.
That's just amazing.
That was my tipping point. I was like, so, oh my God, you're perfect. You know, I don't need you to make sexy remarks. Just tell her how awesome her handwriting is.
That's what I mean. Like, they do have fun banter, which just makes them flirty and happy and is fun to read. And then he comes in with his weird ass, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is a very sweet scene. But unfortunately, this flirty chatting distracts Feyre so much that she doesn't notice that she is not alone anymore. And someone grapples her and covers her mouth. It is theater. Cliffhanger.
Oh, no. Dun, dun, dun.
End of chapter 25.
And that's
no.
the cliffhanger that I mentioned earlier.
How sad we have to stop talking about it now.
But wait a minute, Meike. We decided to read 3 chapters.
What? That's amazing.
But Lea, please enlighten us and tell us about your experience with during a break between these chapters, what were your thoughts about how it might continue? Did you think she would just get yanked away to Hibern?
I didn't really have that many thoughts about what might happen next. I was just actually surprised that would happen, and I didn't expect that. Yeah, and then I had other stuff to do because I couldn't go on reading, so I didn't think about it anymore.
Fair.
How dare you? Please, for the sake of this podcast, pretend that this book is your entire life.
I will. From now on, I will live for Feyre and Rhysand.
Rhaera.
They will be my new parents now.
What?
What about us? Then we have to cosplay as Feyre and Rhysand. But that means I will have to shave.
No, in my head he has a beard.
Yeah.
Every hot man has a beard in your head.
No argument there. That's completely reasonable. Well, Feyre is not left alone for long though, because Rhysand comes to her rescue.
Yippee!
Because night exploded around us. Yeah. Pretty sick.
Metal.
Yeah. That also means the Atter manages to be scary and threatening for like 2 seconds.
But that's the
That's
thing.
it.
Like, maybe that's because I stopped reading after chapter 25, because I actually felt like the Atter was scary, and I was happy when Rhysand showed up and saved Feyre.
Okay, so because this book is your life, you were scared of the Atter for like days on end.
Yeah.
And you could not stop thinking about him. Okay, that makes him more threatening, I will say. But for me personally, I immediately turned the page and read on and was like, oh no, the Atter, oh, he's thwarted by Rhysand.
With his hands in his pocket.
What an incompetent lizard man.
That's the thing, like, he overwhelms the Atter quite fast and binds it with nothing but energy. And at this point, like, I went through my notes and made notes for the podcast. Like, I made notes in the book while reading and then made notes for the podcast. And I wrote down, I can't deal, in my book. And I was like, what was I referring to here? And then I read on. And as you said, he does this whole thing with his hands in his pockets. And I was just like, no, he's just so casual. No.
Yeah, you know, I thought it was very cool too. But this, like, chill guy meme kind of ruined people with their hands in their pockets for me. Because I read it and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then my brain said, like that chill guy meme. And then I imagined myself just standing there. I'm just a chill guy.
When you bound an evil lizard man with nothing but night energy, but you're just a chill guy.
Nice.
Yeah, but that also means now that Rhysand and the Atter have met again, you know, we have this in-law casting of characters in this podcast. And not only did we cast Willem Dafoe for the Atter, but last episode, or the episode before that, we also cast Willem Dafoe as Rhysand. So
What?
that's just 2.
Isn't he his
No,
penis?
so we have 3 roles for Willem Dafoe. One is the Atter, just because it kind of fits. Then we cast Willem Dafoe as Tamlin's penis. I honestly do not remember why. A lot of stuff
You did
happens
that.
in front of the microphone, I know, but I don't really know why. And then 2 episodes ago, you compared Rhysand to the hot fish in Finding Nemo, which is played by Willem Dafoe. So we said that obviously Rhysand has to be played by Willem Dafoe. So that means Willem Dafoe is now facing Willem Dafoe. And I just think that's a funny image to keep in mind for the TV show.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember us going on a tangent about Tamlin looking at his penis and always getting a little angry because his penis looks like Rhysand.
That is what I remember as well. Only the important things stay in my mind.
Yeah. So if in like book 4, the Atter, Rhysand, and Tamlin have a threesome, there will be 3 Willem Dafoes and also the actor of Tamlin.
Sometimes I hate us.
Yes.
To bring us to different thoughts, Rhysand begins to interrogate and torture the Atter, and through that the Atter reveals that he was sent to get Feyre. And at this point I thought, was he sent by Tamlin? Oh my god, this evil ass bitch!
Bish!
But no, he was sent by the King of Hibern.
Yeah. Which again made all the aura of threat and villainous behavior around the Atter just completely vanish. Like, he objects Rhysand's questioning for like one sentence, and then he just caves completely at the prospect of pain. Like, what kind of guy is he? He just gets captured immediately, and he starts out with like, no, I will not tell you anything. Oh no, please don't help me, please don't help me. The King of Hybern sent me.
Yeah, the thing is, the interrogation becomes like a one-word conversation.
Yeah.
And I just found it very funny. I'd like to read it. The Etta is being tortured and it flinges. No, Feyre flinges. And the Etta is like, don't know. But then Rhysand goes, where is the king? Hybern! Army coming soon! How large? Endless! We have allies in every territory, all waiting!
He's so silly.
But I actually have like a small theory about that. Why he's so incompetent. It might be that the King of Hybern knows that this dude is just the most incapable being ever, and that's why he sent the Etta on purpose. Because he like knew no one's gonna get Feyre if Rhysand's there. So he sent the Etta because he knew he would get captured, and he knew he would tell them about his army, so maybe he could send a message.
Okay.
I can see that. And I also picked up on another thing, because the Etta says we have allies in every territory, and that does include Springcourt.
It's either Ianthe or Tamlin, or both of them.
I think it's both. Suspicious bish.
But the Etta is not executed immediately for its transgressions. Instead, Ezreal arrives and brings the Etta away, kind of teleports or winnows. It's a bit unclear because he was not able to winnow before, or maybe he just didn't do it for reasons unknown. But it's interesting.
Very intriguing.
And he uses like his siphons, so maybe they allow him to teleport. I can still see that Rhysand can just teleport them away somehow. I don't know.
I mean, Feyre thinks about that as well. And she comes to the conclusion that maybe he can do it like once, and it's so draining to him that he can't do it all the time. And this is kind of written in a way that for me it just becomes like the law. It kind of feels like Sir James just wanted to get this information across.
I guess, yeah.
But I really liked this first appearance of like dangerous Ezreal. Because so far he has been like the gentle, silent one. And I found that very intriguing. But now he has like this, like he appears and the Etta immediately gets more scared, and then Ezreal stalks towards him, and the Ezreal's like,
The Ezreal.
and the Etta is like, oh no, and then just in a whoosh they're gone, and it's like all shadowy, and that is so
He was
cool.
pretty awesome.
It really elevates my Ezreal standum.
Nice.
But is their plan to just send the Etta back to deliver this message?
He is supposed to be used as a message to Hybern to kind of tell them that the members of the Night Court are not to be messed with, kind of. But that means the King of Hybern will know that Feyre is definitely now working on Rhysand's side against him. I can also see that the King of Hybern, like, coaxes Tamlin with this information. Like, he's like, I know something about your fiancé. She's now with this other guy and is like working with him willingly and stuff. And then he's like, meh, 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 meh. Okay, take my powers.
Yeah.
This might even be a different approach. Maybe the King of Hybern gaslights Tamlin into thinking that Feyre is not on Rhysand's side, but that Feyre is the damsel in distress, and that Tamlin needs to ally with Hybern in order to save Feyre. I mean, Tamlin is gullible, so I think it would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's already what Tamlin believes. Like, he doesn't think Feyre is strong, so telling him Feyre is in danger and endangered by Rhysand instead of she's working with him. Because he's like, ugh, what should Feyre do? Like, why would she work with him? But being like, oh, he's evil and he took my girl, that would really fit his narrative.
Yeah. But then Rhysand drops a bombshell because he reveals, I was curious who wanted to snatch you the first moment you were alone.
I was just like, bro, what?
Yeah.
You little baka.
Like, for real, I really thought we were past him not telling her his plans.
Yeah.
Right. This felt like such a big betrayal from him.
Yeah.
Especially after this very cute interaction between them. Because it made me feel safe with Rhysand, and then for her to, betray her. This is betrayal. He didn't tell her what was happening, and he, like, endangered her without telling her. That is just not right, and it made me so mad, and it made me so sad.
Yeah, fuck this. Fuck Rhaera.
All these things Feyre does feel as well. And she becomes really angry and tries to hurt Rhysand. And first he goes on taunting her. He's like, oh, maybe I'll tell you next time. Which also made me even angrier. Mm-hmm. But then he, like, pressures and I guess encourages her to try even harder. Because this is his training. Like, he tries to get her to activate her powers like this, with, like, enraging her so much that she releases her powers. And she goes on chasing him, but he vanishes and reappears somewhere else until she finally manages to follow him and winnows for the first time, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it made me angry his methods work. Because it's so cool she's winnowing now. But I don't like that he has to be so mean to her all the time. Like, please find a different way to teach her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a very immersive scene. Like, I don't often feel like the first-person protagonist. Like, I maybe relate to them and I don't know, understand their thoughts while reading them. But, like, in this scene, everything Feyre felt and said, I felt and wanted to say to him. Like, I felt very much like Feyre in that moment, so angry and disappointed and just lashing out at him and being like, I wanted to take him and shake him and be like, stop, bro!
I mean, I witnessed Meike reading this and she was so immersed that at the point where Feyre winnows, she actually vanished and appeared on the other side of the couch. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was a crazy moment for me.
But now, Meike has learned this power and she does not need to use public transportation anymore. It's great.
Dream scenario.
Yeah. You know, there's an acting exercise that is kind of similar to that. Like...
To teleportation? What the fuck?
No, but like...
Theater kids.
The way it works kind of feels like this. Because, like, you stand back to back to, like, preferably a person that is bigger and probably stronger than you. And then, like, when you have a monologue or, like, a fight scene, and then you, like, just say your dialogue, and the other person is trying to, like, push you with their back in the other direction, and you're trying to push the other person, and because they are stronger, they, like, keep pushing you, and you, like, get so angry, and you just say your lines, and you get angry and, like, frustrated, and you want to do, like, you want to push them back, but you can't, and, like, it really makes the lines feel angry and, like, real, and that's a very good exercise, but it always also makes me angry that I have to become angry to, like, make it.
But it sounds pretty cool, yeah.
But yeah, that reminded me of that. It is fun. Like, it's very helpful.
Yeah.
And then you teleport?
And then I teleport.
Oh,
yes.
okay. Got it.
Oh, I wish I could teleport.
Oh, the dream. This would mean that we could have just winnowed to Lea's house and we could record in person.
Right. It would mean I could always sleep in my bed even when I'm away for work.
Yeah. Would you rather be able to fly like the Illyrians, or would you be able to teleport? Because flying is fun.
You know, the thing is, flying also sounds like work. You know, like physical work. And it sounds exhausting. Like, I don't like running to a place I have to go to. And flying seems like physical work, such like running. So teleporting, I could maybe also kind of experience the sensation of flying. Like, I could teleport myself to a very high point and then let myself drop a bit and then teleport to a higher point again and then let myself drop a bit and then teleport to a higher point.
But how would you get out of this? Like, could you then teleport to the ground, or do you keep, like, your 200 kilometers per hour momentum?
No, I would just teleport myself to the ground because I'm a very skilled teleporter.
Okay. If you can do that, I can get behind it. Like, you could just go skydiving all the time.
I mean, flying sounds fucking awesome, but teleporting just sounds like it's really useful.
It's very practical.
Yeah.
I would also choose teleporting.
I would love to be able to fly. I think it's cooler if you can just fly and don't have to use wings for that. Like, if you just could go like, whoop, and then you fly. But I think I agree, like, teleporting is so much more useful and it saves so much time. And I never thought about your, like, drop teleport combination possibilities, so I think that's a very good argument. But yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Feyre gets to winnow and slam Rhys into the ground.
Nice.
And as some closing remarks, I have to say I really like their tender moments, like when their conversation in the bedroom. Like, I feel like that is where their relationship is kind of growing.
In the bedroom.
And especially, like, when they have their fun banter, not the creepy banter. And I really like what is happening between Nesta and Cassian. But I do not like Rhysand not being honest with Feyre. Like, it pisses me off really bad.
Yeah, I hated that. But it gave me the knowledge that I'm invested in this book.
Yeah.
You know, that I get so angry about a fictional character not telling someone else something. It means I'm invested. And that's good. I don't think I've ever been that invested in book one.
No, I was just about to say. In book one, we were very disconnected from the story, I would say. But here, I really feel like I enjoy this book. And that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because I can be more hyped about stuff. And that makes the podcast better. That makes your listening experience better. It's just good times all around.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think where we leave off now has a lot of potential. Because them, like her having him tackled to the ground, they are now lying on top of each other. And this is the opening for the next chapter. So the next chapter is either them like having this classical moment where they like look at each other and become very quiet and just gaze into the other person's eyes and like notice they like each other. Or she's like really going on her feelings. Like she's like, bro, now stop this, blah, blah, blah. And she gets very angry at him and then they make up. And yeah, I think that's just like where we leave off is great potential.
Do they make up or make out?
We will see.
Big difference.
Hopefully
Big
the
difference.
last one.
I mean, if they just start making out at the beginning of the next chapter, I will be prepared for it, but I will still jump. This will still catch me off guard.
Like an angry sex scene could be cool.
And then they just have sex on the floor, and then Azrael comes back and is like, hey, I dropped the ether off. Oh God. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's the thing that I can see happening, that someone is crashing in.
In exchange, Feyre's like, oh, you saw us having sex. I need to witness you and Morrigan having sex. And then we can have this description. And the first person problematic that we talked about is just solved.
Perfect.
Yes. Yeah, I can see someone crashing their moment too. That would be very classic.
Yeah.
I'm calling it. Next chapters will be good. Good. Long and good and full of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Feyre will be full of something.
Well, with this prediction, to pass the time until the next episode comes out, you could check out our social media accounts on Instagram and TikTok at GettingFadePod, where we provide you with some highlights of the episode and some reels that are quite funny, if I do say so myself.
That sounds amazing, Lea. Oh, I will just tune into this Instagram account.
So that content might bring you over the next 2 weeks for the time that you're waiting for the next episode, and so that you hopefully won't miss it, you should give us a follow and maybe even a review.
Also, to pass the time, you could listen to the episode we dropped last week. Yes, last week, because it was a bonus episode. A very special bonus episode, because it was the very first episode of our new book club, where we talk about books in full length, not just chapter by chapter. It was a very fun discussion. We had many, many thoughts, and it was a very fun episode to record. So if you want to hear more about our thoughts on Tusk Love, a D&D-inspired book, you can tune into that if you miss us too much.
Yeah.
And we will see you there.
And also, if you maybe go on a hike to chop some wood and then just come across two people having an intimate, sexy time, you could go to them, disrupt them, and then tell them, hey, I have a podcast recommendation for you. And then you can make them listen to Getting Fae'd. Maybe while having sex.
It will probably bring them in the mood, definitely. Surely.
I think so, yeah.
But until then, we hope you have a great time, and we will see you next time when we are
Getting Fae'd!